Good evening, friend. A warm welcome to all of you. Myself, Dr. Amit Patil. I am interventional cardiologist in Mumbai. It's a great pleasure for me to discuss ECG basics with you, and I am thankful to all of you. Since there is a shortage of time, we will start with the discussion. ECG workshop. So, basics of ECG we are going to discuss. So, when you see the ECG, there are n number of things in the ECG, like starting from the calibration. I will show you. See, this is the calibration mark. Then there are multiple leads like 1, 2, 3, AVR, AVL, AVF, and V1 to V6, 12 leads. After that, there are different waves like P wave, QRS wave, T waves, their normal duration, their abnormalities. So there are n number of things. And that's why the ECG becomes complex. But I assure you, with our basic ECG session, it will become all very simplified. Already we have conducted multiple lectures and many of our doctors are refined in interpreting the ECG now, that you must have seen our ECG helpline groups. So what all things we have to see in the ECG? This slide we are going to discuss at the end of our sessions. I have kept it uh, first to just give you gross idea. So don't get bothered with so many things. What I'm showing here. So what we have to see in the ECG is calibration. Situs means lead AVR, that gives idea about situs and also lead placement in the ECG. Then rate, rhythm, durations, intervals of like PR segment, PR interval, QRS complex duration, QT interval, ST segment. These all things we have to see. Then ischemic changes in the form of tall T wave inversions, stimulation, all these or depression, all these are ischemic changes. Then there any chamber enlargement or oversizing like LVH, RVH, or any of the atrial enlargement, right or left. Then axis of the heart. Miscellaneous findings like systemic conditions like pulmonary embolism, hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, or electrolytes disturbances like hyperkalemia, hypokalemia, calcium disturbances. This you can find out from the ECG. Also morphologies of the waves like P wave morphology, QRS morphology. These have typical morphology. If any variation in the morphology, that indicates some abnormality, structural abnormality in the heart, and total interpretation of the ECG. At the end, you have to give, and from there you can get some diagnosis. So many things. So how you remember that? So in medicine, whenever we have to remember multiple things, and if those are complex, we take help of mnemonic. So even I have derived one mnemonic. Yeah, it's include my name just to remember easily. I have derived this mnemonic, cardio amit. In this cardio amit, C stands for calibration. Okay, I showed you in the ECG what is where is the calibration. In further lectures we will discuss in detail what is calibration, why it is important, how it is seen. Then A stands for AVR lead. This leads gives idea about the lead placement and situs, what is the dextrocardia, levocardia, that this AVR lead tells us. Rates, R stands for rate, rhythm in the ECG. D stands for durations like PR, interval, QRS, QT. I stands for ischemic changes. O stands for oversizing of chambers. A stands for axis. MI stands for miscellaneous conditions, as I told you, and morphology of the waves. Okay, and T stands for total interpretation. Okay, with this cardio amit mnemonic, I assure you that 99% of the ECG finding you will grab. You won't miss a single finding. 99% of the time you are going to be correct. And this all things we are going to discuss in subsequent lectures. So let's start with basic anatomy of the heart. So in the heart there are four chambers, two on the right side, two on the left side. The upper ones are atria, lower ones are the ventricle. So right atrium and right ventricle contain deoxygenated blood, and left atrium and left ventricle contains oxygenated blood. So right atria gets the blood from the whole of the body, which goes to right ventricle. From right ventricle, blood through the pulmonary artery go to the lung. There it get oxygenated, and from the pulmonary veins it comes to the left atrium. from left atrium to left ventricle, and from left ventricle through the aorta, blood goes to the body. So this contractive action of the right atrium, that is atrial systole, pumps blood into the ventricle, and ventricular systole pumps blood into the pulmonary artery in aorta. This contractility is directed by the electrical activity. Whenever there is an electrical signal, the ventricular cardiac muscle will contract. Okay. Now both the atria are separated by interatrial septum, both the ventricle are separated by interventricular septum, and atrioventricular junction is here. Both atria and ventricle are separated by atrioventricular junction. This is the atrioventricular junction. So this is very gross and basic anatomy I'm telling you. The important thing we need to know for ECG is conduction system of the heart. So in the heart, there are two nodes. One is SA node, other is AV node. SA node is situated at the junction of SVC and right atrium. This is the SA node. This is the SA node. It is the uh, impulse generator, main impulse generator of the heart. From the SA node, impulse goes to the AV node. How? Through the internodal pathway. These three green pathways are internodal pathway, and this pathway also give impulse to the right atrium. And from here, one bundle goes to the left atrium also. Okay. From AV node, further impulse goes to bundle of His, which is further divided into right bundle branch, left bundle branch. These bundle branches gives impulses to interventricular muscle also. And further, these bundle branches goes to the left ventricle and right ventricle, and simultaneously these bundle branches depolarize the ventricle also. Bundle branches further gives Purkinje fibers. These are the small fibers which enter into the ventricular muscle. So to summarize, SA node, then internodal pathway, AV node, bundle of His, right bundle branch, left bundle branch, and then Purkinje fiber. This is how the conduction system of the heart. See, the SA node is a dominant pacemaker, which I told you. Dominant pacemaker is a SA node. Why it is dominant pacemaker? Because this SA node starts the impulse, which goes subsequently to the rest of the heart. That's why SA node is a dominant pacemaker. So SA node is like a family head, main electrical supply of the house. This will generate the impulse and which will go to the rest of the heart. And this characteristic of SA node is called as automaticity. Automaticity. That is rhythm generator. And that's why normally we have sinus rhythm, because normally the SA node is a dominant pacemaker. So atrial conduction or depolarization was the SA node generate the impulse through the internodal pathway, the and atrial conducting tissue, the atria get depolarized, first right atrium, and to the left atrium, this Bachmann's bundle will go, and these will depolarize the atrium. Through the internodal pathway, impulse will go to the AV node and then further ventricular tissue. See this is after atrial depolarization, impulse will go to the AV node and then further the ventricular conducting tissue, which we have already discussed. See here. So this is in detail about the conduction tissue. So SA node, then internodal pathways, AV node, bundle of His, right bundle branch, left bundle branch, and then Purkinje fiber. So as I told you, SA node is a dominant pacemaker. Why it is dominant pacemaker? It generates the impulses naturally at the rate of 60 to 100, and that is the highest, and that's why this pacemaker dominates. Then there are internal pathway which contain SA node to AV node. Then there is a AV node. It is a part of AV junctional tissue which has impulse generating capacity of 40 to 60. But since SA node is having capacity of 60 to 100, it dominates the impulse generating automaticity, and that's why he is like a family head for the impulse generation. Also, AV node has one characteristic of delaying the impulse. Then there are bundle of His, left bundle branch, right bundle branch, and Purkinje system. Purkinje systems also have automaticity characteristic of generating impulse at the rate of 20 to 40. Ventricular muscles and Purkinje fiber can generate the impulse at the rate of 20 to 40. So these are the impulse generating capacities of this pacemaker. Now we are going to discuss only practical things, no theoretical things like depolarization, various channels, and all that, sodium channel, potassium channel. That for that we are going to take a different lecture for theoretical discussion. In that we will discuss. So practically, what is ECG? ECG has three important component for you to interpret. Like, you should know direction of impulse. Direction of impulse means how the our heart is getting depolarized. Then recording by leads. So you should have idea about the leads which are going to record the ECG, and you should know the golden rule of the ECG. So don't worry, one by one, all things we are going to discuss. Okay. So for the direction of impulse, I'm going to show you this one video which I got on the online. It's really a nice video. See. So basically, they are telling about the conduction tissue, which we have already discussed. SA node, internal pathway, AV node, bundle of His, right bundle branch, left bundle branch, and Purkinje fiber. These are the conduction of tissue. Now, purpose of this video is to get idea about the direction of impulse. Now they will describe how the direction of impulse is there. SA node is starting the signal. It is going through the atria. Then see, it will go to the AV node. Yeah. Then bundle of HIS. Then the Purkinje fibers. Okay. So this is how the direction of impulse is. Impulse started in SA node. Through the internodal pathway, it gone to AV node. At the same time, it has depolarized the atrias. Then through the AV node, then bundle right left bundle branches, then the ventricles through the Purkinje fiber. This is how the direction of impulses. The purpose of this video is to get the idea about the direction of impulse. So from this, like this, direction of impulse, SA node, AV node, and then ventricles. Now we will go ahead. Okay. So in this slide, also same thing I want to explain you. See, SA node is a impulse generator dominant pacemaker. It will generate the impulse. It will send impulse like this. Both atria will get depolarized, right atrium and left atrium. Then from the AV node, there will be slight delay in the AV node. Okay, because it has property of delaying. See, this is the delay in the AV node. Then through the bundle of his right and left bundle branch will get the impulse. Impulse first enters in the left bundle branch. So septal depolarization occurs like this from left to right because impulse has entered first in the left. And the ventricles, both ventricles get depolarized simultaneously. Okay, both ventricles, see here. This is the left ventricle, right ventricle. Both ventricle get deployed simultaneously. This is how the impulse, direction of impulse. If you see grossly, so like this is the direction of impulse. Okay. So main purpose of this video is, this slide is to get the idea of the direction of impulse. Now, coming to the leads. Now see, you can see these are the leads. These are the leads. These are the leads. Okay. Now, so impulse direction was from SA node, AV node, and to the ventricles. Now, what these leads do? These leads do nothing but recording the activity of this impulse. How this impulse is going. It is and its direction. Whether it is going from above to down or from down to up. Whether it is going slow, fast. All these activities basically recorded by these leads. This leads function is nothing but the recording the activity of this impulse, and this recording is nothing but the ECG. This is how it is simple. Direction of impulse, speed of impulse, this is recorded by these leads and reflected in the ECG. This is how the ECG we get. See, now see these leads we have shown directly on the heart. Practically this is not possible. So on the convenient surface we have to keep the leads. And heart also, during this his depolarization, it generates the electrical activity surrounding it. Like this, it generates the electrical activity surrounding this, to covering the whole body. Okay, so we have chosen the convenient places, like we have limb leads and chest leads. On the limb we apply the limb leads, and on the chest we apply the chest leads, and we record the activity of the impulse through these leads. Now, what is the golden rule? What is the golden rule? I will tell you golden rule. So golden rule is nothing but the direction of impulse is if toward the lead, it will record a positive deflection. See here, this animated diagram. Suppose this is the heart, and impulse we saw from SA node to AV node to ventricle goes like this. And if I put one lead here, if I put one lead here, this is blue color lead, this will record a positive deflection like this. I will also tell you in a previous diagram. Suppose this, I am talking about the this lead. This is the lead. Okay. So direction of impulse normally is from SA node to AV node to ventricles. So this lead will record a positive deflection for this particular impulse coming from above down. Suppose this ventricular tissue get activated, dominates hold the heart, and it starts sending impulse from down to up, from down to up. So what will happen? For same lead, impulse is going away from this lead, so it will record a negative deflection. This is the golden rule. If impulse is coming toward particular lead, it will record a positive deflection. If impulse is going away from the lead, it will record a negative deflection. This is the golden rule. See here, the now suppose this was the lead. Suppose this lead is here. Okay, like see here, this lead is here and impulse is growing from above down. So what deflection this lead will record? A negative deflection, like this, negative deflection. This is the golden rule. See here, this is the direction of depolarization shown here, and our lead is here, and recording, if you see, it is going up like. So this is the golden rule. And now for applying this rule, two things are very important we should know thoroughly. Direction of the impulse. Now you are well oriented about the direction of the impulse. You are well knowledge about this. Now we will have to get knowledge about the position of the leads. And so impulse direction, and second thing is recording lead position in relation to heart or impulse direction, that you should know. So this thing we will discuss now. So now, as I told you, that we cannot apply electrode directly on the heart. So we put this electrode on the convenient surface. Now, simply put electrode in front of the heart, in front of a particular surface of the heart, and record that surface activity. Suppose you want to record anterior surface of the heart's activity, you just put electrodes on the anterior surface. But we can't put electrode on the directly on the heart. So what we do, we put electrode on the chest. What are the chestlets? If you put electrode on the right side of the heart on the chest, you will record the right sided activity. Suppose someone puts electrode on the posterior surface of the heart, means we cannot put posterior surface electrode directly on the posterior surface of the heart. What we will do, we will go on the back side, just beside the spine. We will put electrodes. Since heart is on the left side of the thoracic cavity, so on the left back, just beside the spine, if we put the electrodes and if we record the activity in the electrode, we will get the posterior surface activity. So it depends where the you are applying the electrode. If you put electrode on the inferior surface and record the activity, it will give idea about the electrical activity in the inferior surface of the heart. So this is how it is simple. If you want to record left sided activity, put electrodes on the left side. See, normally we put chest electrode on the predominantly on the left side, because heart is on the left side, and that record the left sided electrical activity. If particular condition, if you want to record right sided electrical activity, you put right sided electrodes. If you want to record posterior surface of the heart electrical activity, you push posterior electrodes. Yeah, this is what normally the standard 12 lead electrocardiogram is representation of the heart's electrical activity recorded uh, on body surface. So see, these are the there are 12 leads. What are the 12 leads? Six are limb leads and six are chase leads. Limb leads are 1, 2, 3, AVR, AVL, AVF, and chase leads are V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6. Now, the important thing is we have to remember orientation of these leads with respect to heart, or say directly with respect to direction of impulse. This is what important in our real life practice. How these leaves are derived and all these Einstein triangle, all these things are theoretical and no doubt these are important. But for practical aspect interpretation, just concentrate how these leads are oriented toward the heart and their relation with the direction of impulse. Remember this is very important what I'm telling you. Just remember how these leads are oriented to the heart or direction of impulse and their position with respect to heart. That is most important thing you should know. Now if you see in the ECG, these 12 leads, uh, first six are limb leads, that is 1, 2, 3, then AVR, AVL, and AVF. These are the limb leads. First six are limb leads. Then next six are chest leads, V1 to V6. So first of all, I will tell you about the chest leads. So recording leads, chest leads. These are V1 to V6. Now in the chest, see this is the sternum, this is the clavicle, okay, and these are the ribs. Here we have divided this area by this vertical line, mid clavicular line, anterior axillary line, and mid axillary line, to as a surface landmark, what we learn in our anatomy basics. So mid clavicular line goes to the middle of the clavicle and perpendicular to the horizontal surface. Anterior axillary line will go to the anterior fold of the axilla, and mid axillary line will go to the apex of the axilla, and this will divide the, these are the basically surface landmarks. So I will describe in detail position of these leads. So see, predominantly in V1 to V6, V2 to V6 are on the left side of the chest, and V1 is on the right side of the chest. See, on the right side of the sternum, and our heart position is here. See, heart is shown like this, if you can see in the diagram. Okay, so where we put this chest lead? So V1 is applied in the fourth intercostal space on the right side of the sternum. V2 is same fourth intercostal space but on the left side of the sternum. Now directly see V4. V4 we apply in a fifth intercostal space at left midclavicular line. Okay, this is in the fifth and midclavicular. I have shown you midclavicular line. See here, midclavicular line. Here we applied the fourth. This is the first on the right side of the sternum. This is second. And why I didn't tell you third? Because this is between V2 and V4. Third is between V2 and V4. Now after V4, rest of the leads are in the line of V4, at the level of V4, but just line changes, like V4 in the mid clavicular line, V5 is in the anterior axillary line, and V6 is in the mid axillary line. This is how. So I guess you must have remembered this how to apply. I will revise once again. See, start from fourth intercostal space on the right side, because if you see the position of the heart, so it's a small segment of right ventricle is toward the right side of the sternum. So we start V1 from the right fourth intercostal space, just right to the sternum. V2 is fourth intercostal space, just left side of the sternum. Then directly V4 in the mid clavicular line, but fifth intercostal space. Now V3 is in between to V2 and V4, and V5, V6 are at the level of V4, but just this line changes. If the, as this is in the mid clavicular line, V5 is in the anterior axillary line, and V6 in the mid axillary line. This is how we apply the chest leads. Okay. Now, if you consider this lead in relation with the heart, this is very, very, very important. You should remember. V1, V2 correspond to the septum. See, this is the right ventricle, this is the left ventricle, this is interventricular septum, this is interventricular septum. Okay, so this V1 V2 lead correspond this to this septum. So whatever septal activity, electrical activity, that will be reflected in the V1 V2. And to in a simple way I will tell you, this V1 is related to right ventricle also. Okay, so sometimes they have mentioned it as a right ventricular lead also, V1. Okay, now V3 V4, V3 V4 is related, this is the anterior surface of the left ventricle. This is the cut section, that's why you can't see, but otherwise this is the anterior surface of the left ventricle, and this anterior surface is related to V3 and V4. Anterior surface of left ventricle is related to V3 and V4, and V5 V6 are lateral leads. This is the lateral surface. If you see, this is the lateral surface that is covered by V5 V6. Okay, so whatever the electrical activity, electrical events, impulse, direction will be reflected in these leads. For septum, V1 V2, V3 V4 for anterior surface of left ventricle, V5 V6 for lateral surface of left ventricle. Okay. Now, as we discuss left-sided chest list, similarly, I told you, suppose if you want to see electrical activity on the right surface of the heart, you will put the right-sided lead. Nothing is different, is same as the left side. Just the thing is that for left side, we have started from the right-sided fourth intercostal space. For right side, we will do reverse, that we will start from the left sided fourth intercostal space and rest of the lead as it is, okay, just we have to start from the left side for right sided ECG. So this ECG, if we want to see RVMI, right ventricular myocardial infarction, then we put the right sided lead, or some patient has dextrocardia, to confirm that we can put chest leads on the right side. Okay, and RVMI, see what happens to confirm the RVMI. Most of the time, inferior MI is associated with RVMI. So that's why in inferior MI, in every patient, you should take right-sided leads also. See, so same diagram for the right-sided lead. See, this is the left-sided leads, and for right side, this V2 becomes V1, and V1 becomes V2, and these are the right-sided leads. Okay. Similarly, as I told you, if you want to see the electrical activity on the posterior surface, so these are the posterior leads behind the chest wall from the posterior side. Okay, so you can apply the leads on the posterior side, and you can take the electrical activity there. For posterior MI, you can apply the posterior leads. So chest leads basically present in the horizontal plane. If you see that these are applied like this, like this. So these covers the electrical activity in a horizontal plane. See, this is the horizontal plane. So V1 to V6 will cover the horizontal activity on the left side. If you apply right-sided leads, this will cover right-sided horizontal activity. And if you apply posterior leads, this will cover posterior surface horizontal activities. Now, what about the vertical plane activities? As you see, you saw the impulse come above down. So vertical activity, electrical activity recording is also important. That is covered by the limb leads. Now for limb leads, there are 4 different colored electrodes which give from which we derive the 6 limb leads. Now these are the color coding, but nowadays you must have seen those leads are already labeled with RL, LA, LL for the applying on a particular limb. But this color coding, if you see, so right arm electrode is red colored, left arm is yellow colored, left leg is green color, and right leg is black color. Usually in our internship days, we used to use mnemonic like OBGY, starting from the right upper limb, right lower limb, left lower limb, left upper limb. So basically, this is much more important for interpreting ECG is this limb leads orientation to the heart. So out of these 6 limb leads, 3 are standard or bipolar leads, that is 1, 2, 3, and augmented leads are AVR, AVL, and AVF. So the most important, as I told you, rather than derivation, most important thing for interpreting ECG, we should remember how these leads are oriented to the heart. This is very very important. Now this is the vertical plane. Okay, this is the vertical plane. If you see, this is the vertical plane. Now this is divided into 4 sections like 0, 90, 180, and again minus 90 in a 4 planes. And now if you see, position of these leads. First of all, I will tell about the position of lead 1, 2, 3. See this. This is the lead 1. It is, see, if this is the heart, and if we consider AV junction as a center point, then at the 0 degree is lead 1. Then add 60 60 to get lead 2 and 3. So at plus 60 degree is lead 2, and plus at plus 120 degree is lead 3. So 0, 60, 120 is position of lead 1, 2 and 3 with respect to the heart position. Now about the AVR, AVL and AVF. So AVR lead has its positive electrode at the right upper limb, and its position is on the right side minus 30 degree from the horizon, or say minus 150 degree. It is at the minus 150 degree on the right side. Okay. Now AVL, it has positive electrode, or it is corresponded to left upper limb, and its position is minus 30 on the left side. Okay, it is at the minus 30. And AVF has positive pole at the left lower limb, and its position is plus 90. Okay, so this position you have to remember how they are related to the heart. Lead 1 is at 0, 2 is at 60, 3 is at 120. And AVR, AVL, AVF. So AVR is at minus 150 on the right side, AVL is on the left side minus 30, and AVF is at plus 90 degree. Okay, so see this. If you see, lead 1 was at a 0, 2 was at 60, and 3 was at 120. Okay, so one these are the position of the leads. Now if you see lead 2, 3 AVF, 2, 3 AVF, 2 is at 60, AVF is at 90, and 3 is at 120. So these are related to inferior surface of the heart. So what we call it as a inferior leads. Now, if you see 1 and AVL, 1 was at 0 degree, AVL was at minus 30. Okay, so these are on the lateral surface of the heart. So what we call that is a left lateral leads, left lateral leads, left lateral limb leads, you can say, because in the chest leads also there was V5, V6 on the lateral side. So these are the left lateral limb leads, and AVR is on the right side. So sometimes it is called as a right-sided lead. Okay, it was in the minus 150 position. If you have seen previous diagram, this was 180 and minus 30 above, that is minus 150 was AVR. Okay, so basically these, what is function of these leads? These are like cameras and seeing the electrical activity of the impulse, electrical activity and direction of the impulse. Suppose it's starting from SA node going to AV node and then going down. So these just see the direction of impulse. And for your knowledge, I will tell you these are the inferior leads. And for inferior leads, if you see impulse coming from above down, so these will record a positive deflection, as we discussed in our golden rules. And that's why the inferior leads have positive P wave, whereas AVR has negative P wave, because always the direction of depolarization of atria is away from it. So this is how the application of our golden rule. Okay, now see this. This is the uh, combined image showing the position of the chest leads and limb leads. If we see in horizontal plane, these are the V1 to V6, and in the vertical plane, these are the limb leads. Okay, this is 2, 3 AVF, inferior limb leads. This is the 1 and AVL. This is in the vertical plane, and this is the AVR. Okay, so to summarize, and these are the chest leads in a horizontal plane, which we have already seen. See again this one diagram giving idea about the orientation of the leads. These V1 to V6 are related in a horizontal plane, while these limb leads are related in a vertical plane to heart. Okay. So to summarize, if someone asks you what are the inferior leads, we saw 2, 3 AVF is the inferior leads. What are the lateral leads? Lateral leads are two. One is limb leads, that is 1 AVL. We saw those are on the 0 and minus 30 position, and V5, V6 are also laterally related. So these are the lateral leads. What are the septal leads? V1, V2. And what are the anterior leads? V3, V4. So basically these leads record the electrical activity in that particular area of the heart. That's why this is important. So if you see on the ECG, now when you read the ECG, always see the contiguous lead also. Suppose if you are getting a T wave inversion lead 1, then you should see AVL also and V5, V6 also. So these are the lateral leads. You should read them in combination. Similarly, 2, 3 AVF are inferior leads, V1, V2 are septal leads, and V3, V4 are anterior leads. This is how you have to read. Now, modified position of the limb electrodes. So for right upper limb electrode, suppose some person has amputated right upper limb, you can put them on a right shoulder. Also for a left shoulder, and then flank position for the lower limb leads. These are the modified position you can use. Also for treadmill test, to reduce the vibrations, we keep electrodes on the modified positions. Chest leads remain same. So three important things today we saw: direction of impulse, leads orientation to the heart, and golden rule of depolarization. These three things, if you understood, ECG is done for you. I am repeating my statement. If these three things understood to you, ECG is done for you. So you revise. Now we will stop here today, and you revise these things two times, three times, four times, and just memorize it in a better way. Then we will take a second lecture maybe after a couple of weeks, and we will see the rest of the things like ECG paper, how ECG waves are formed. Okay, so we will stop here today. Thank you.